Hi everyone! What's new in Nuxt? My name is Debbie O'Brien. I'm Head of Learning and Developer Advocate at Nuxt.js. I'm a writer on Ultimate Courses, a teacher at View School, Google Developer Expert, Media Developer Expert for Cloudinary, Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, and you can follow me LinkedIn, Debbie O'Brien, or Twitter, Debs_O'Brien. Okay, so what's been happening at Nuxt recently? Quite a lot, actually. So in case you didn't hear, Nuxt.js company has been funded. We got 2 million seed round. So that happened about February. And that basically just means that we have some money behind us to be able to pay people to work full time so that, the two founders, Alex Chopin and Sebastian Chopin, don't have to be going out and doing workshops and other things just to, pay the bills. So now they can focus completely on Nuxt and also get an amazing team behind them to help Nuxt grow. So that's kind of it's really, really cool. So since the funding, since February, what's been happening? Well, we've had 1 million downloads of Nuxt.js. So that is really, really, really cool. We're really excited about that. So 1 million downloads, well, more than 1 million really. So thanks a million, everyone. So we also launched our ambassadors program. Now we've just started this, it's very new, but basically these are our first ambassadors. These people are responsible for helping us to Nuxtify the world. So welcome to these amazing people. You've probably seen them already. If you're not already following them, you should definitely follow them. And we have a teams page so you can see who are the cool people that are working at Nuxt, as well as the maintainers that are helping us maintain, and they're doing an amazing job as well. And then the ambassadors that are helping us Nuxtify the world. We also have a blog, so if you haven't seen our blog lately, seriously check it out because we have some really, really cool articles. For example, the Nuxt static improvements, or create a blog with Nuxt Content, for example. Obviously, I wrote it, so it's amazing, right? No, seriously, do check them out. And we are adding new content as much as possible. The blog is written by the Nuxt team, the Nuxt maintainers, and the Nuxt ambassadors. So it's a very good quality content. Now, if you want to write blog posts for us, we would love to feature them in our newsletter. We are sending out a Nuxt letter every month. If you haven't already signed up, then I highly encourage you to sign up. And we've been featuring a lot of ambassadors there and a lot of other people who've been creating really, really great articles. We also have showcases in there. So we've been kind of showcasing sites that are built in Nuxt. If you want to see what people are building with Nuxt.js, this is a great way to find out what they're doing. And we show off modules and other things that have been happening throughout the month in Nuxt. So definitely encourage you to sign up for our Nuxt letter. It comes out at the very end of each month. So still have time to sign up for the September one, just around the corner. Our new docs, our new guides are now live. So we've been working really hard on the documentation. Our aim is to just make it better, make it easier to understand. And so more people can come on board and not just learn Nuxt from the start or have skills in Nuxt and just need to find things easily. So it's got a beta sign there just beside it, and that's the new guides. We've kind of split it up into books. So this is our intention, right? The first book is Get Started. If you're new to Nuxt, this is where you want to go, and you want to start reading through the installation, the routing, the directory structure, and the conclusion. If you want to dive a little bit deeper, you can go into the concepts and you can learn about the Nuxt context, for example. We've also got features, the directory structure. So that's what your project would look like. And it has, a chapter for each folder that would have been created if you were creating Nuxt with create Nuxt app, for example. So that's really cool. And then we have the glossary, which would be your old API section. So just to kind of learn a bit more about how things are working, you can check those out as well. We're using the content module for this. As you can see, it gives us a lot more structure because on the right hand side, we now have a table of contents, which means you can see at all points what's going on in the page, and you can quickly scroll down to what you want to look at. So yeah, we've been working really hard on this. And the idea is that the guide in the API is going to disappear very soon and the guides will take over. So do check them out and do get used to them because they are the future of our docs, right? We've also done some really cool things with the documentation. We've added a lot more code sandboxes. So if you haven't looked at our docs recently, you'll probably see loads of these code sandboxes. And do check them out. A lot of work has been put in them and they're very, very new. They're all functioning. And it's just another great way of learning with Nuxt, playing around with Nuxt and seeing how things are working. We've also been very lucky to have an amazing, talented ambassador on board who's helped us with these really, really cool designs. So you might see a few of these around the documentation, and hopefully we'll have more that will help you in a graphical way just understand some of the things of Nuxt, for example, the Nuxt plugins, whereas you can see here it's just beautifully explained. So yeah, more of those will be coming soon, I hope. And yeah, hope you enjoy looking at those. And don't forget, you can download them as well and have them as a screensaver or whatever, if that's going to help you. As far as the docs are concerned, we have documentation in English, Spanish, almost, it's almost there. We're about 95% translated. Portuguese, which was translated literally 2 weeks ago and is now live, so that's fantastic. French, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Indonesian, Persian, that's kind of almost there as well. It's almost ready, and Russian. So that's incredible. And there's more languages to come. So if you're sitting there and going, why is my language not there? We are open to accept any pull requests for any languages, help you set up an issue and get more people on board to help you translate. So it's not just one person translating, right? It's been really incredible, the work that's been done by the community as far as the translation is concerned. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to launch the Spanish version, especially as I'm living in Spain and I'm thinking, wow, the Nuxt docs are not in Spanish. Crazy. So it's almost there. We're almost ready to launch the Spanish version. So do check out that. Now, if you're interested in helping us out with translations, I've created a projects board inside the NuxtJS.org repo. So just go into GitHub under Nuxt and find NuxtJS.org and then click on projects. And this one is the website translations. So you can kind of see here what's going on. The Indonesian one is 11 and 91 done, for example. The Spanish one is 67 of 91 tasks are done. And you can see at what stage the translations are going on. You can see what's being translated, what hasn't been started, what has never ever been done. And you can then help to contribute to that. And let's help just, make the docs more accessible to more people in the world. So that would be fantastic. So yeah, do check that out and help us translate and talk to me if you want to add a new language. Now, I've also created a board for all the issues. So if you're out there thinking, this is missing, so I've been trying to work with this and I haven't got the documentation, I don't understand it, or something is not there, or you'd like to see more of something else, you are more than welcome to create an issue. And don't worry about, oh, is my issue good enough? Will it be accepted? Don't worry about that, because I have a column called in discussion. So when you create it, it's going to go into discussion first of all, and then I'll kind of look at it and check it out and say, oh, we're actually not going to do that, or we will do that, or maybe something's already created and I might answer you with a link to something. But basically just, feel free to open an issue and add in what you think is missing or what you'd like to see more of. And then you can follow along, and if it's in the to-do column, then it's kind of programmed. I'm pretty much going to work on that in the next week, for example. If it's in progress, well, it's being done. As you can see, the modules, diagram improvements, we've been improving those so that the modules, the diagrams can be translated as well. So before they were just like a PNG, and now they're actually, the raw file is included, which means translators can now take those amazing diagrams and translate them if they want to. And then in their version, they're going to have the translated version, which is kind of really cool, especially for languages like Japanese, where your characters, are just completely different and you're going to find it very difficult to understand those diagrams. So being able to translate those is great. So yeah, as you can see, this board, you can follow it or check it out every now and again, see what's going on. And also we kind of put labels on these for, help wanted, like we did in the translator ones, or first time contributor. So if you are a first time contributor and you're kind of thinking, I'd like to do one of those, look for the labels that say first time contributor or help wanted. And yeah, more than willing to accept help with any of this. Now, I've also created a Nuxt.js.org website. Now it's the website, not the framework, but the website roadmap. So this is just kind of so that you can see where we're going and what we're doing. So we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of things that we're going to be doing. And now it's just a matter of planning out when we can do them, in what quarter we're going to do them. And yeah, you can kind of look along here and say, all right, they're, for example, in the fourth quarter, they're modifying the partner pages, releasing the translation of new languages for new guides. There's a new blog post coming. There's update the modules to use new content theme, for example. So all these are being done, and you can see what's in the to-do column. And then you can kind of say, ooh, they haven't even thought about this. And sometimes we don't think about everything. So yeah, like create an issue and say, hey, I see that you haven't got this and we'd like to have some more documentation or something like this on the website that's not there. And it's just a way as well for you to follow along and see what's going on. So yeah, our website has now got a new architecture. We re-architectured everything. So if you had been looking at the source code of Nuxt.js org in the past, you'll probably see it's completely different now. And do check it out. Like, it's open source, so feel free to check it out and dive in there and see what we've done. It's definitely not perfect. So if you see anything, any mistakes or anything, feel free to create a PR and help us make it better. But yes, new architecture. We're now using the content module. So we're a perfect example of how content module works. So check that out and you can see, like, yeah, how we do what we do, which is good, right? So we're always also using Nuxt version 2.14. So in the latest version of Nuxt, what was released? Well, what we released were auto imports of components. Now, this is kind of like, really cool, really like this, because now you don't have to add import statements for your components anymore. Now, I just love that because I don't want to have to write all these import statements and then components and then, add them all out. Now, you might want to, and you still can do that if you want to. You just put components full, so you don't have to use it. So don't be forced to use it. But it is great. It really does tidy up your code and it's very good for fast development. So yeah, that's just cool. Smart Generate. This is my favorite, right? So any of you who are building static sites in the past and haven't been using them lately, you would have remembered just using Nuxt Generate, and then it's going to generate your whole site. Then you change something, a little bit of content, and then you do Nuxt Generate again, and it's regenerating your whole site again, and it's rebuilding everything. And I had various like fights and stuff with people in offices, where they were like, oh, it takes too long, and why do I have to wait so long just to like generate the whole site? Why do I have to generate the whole site if I just changed one thing? And yeah, in a way I hate saying it, but they were kind of right. Why did we have to do that? Well, now we don't. So with the Smart Generate of Nuxt version 2.14, we can now generate, basically we know if it's only your content that's changed, or if you've changed like the architecture, like the view page or some JavaScript or some CSS. If you change that, we need to rebuild it, right? Because you've kind of changed the architecture, right? But if you only change the content, if you only change the furniture in the house, we don't need to rebuild the house, right? We just need to take in and out the furniture. So basically, yeah, it's gonna cache the build the first time. And if nothing else changes, only content, say coming from a CMS, from an API, or for example, in your content folder, markdown files, then it's just super lightning fast. It's just gonna generate really, really fast. It's so cool. It doesn't, just skips Webpack. Webpack, don't need you, bang, I'm just gonna generate the content. So that's great. And there's also a crawler, right? Do you remember the days, and I'm only talking a couple of months ago, but do you remember the days when we used to have to write that massive function and map over all our pages just to try and get like our routes, so you could have dynamic routes. So dynamic routes now, bang, done, crawler. There's like a little tiny crawler, it's called a Nuxt crawler, and he's crawling every single link. And anytime he finds a link, he generates that page. So unless you've got like a secret page, which is like nobody can ever find because it's, secret, then that's not going to be crawled and you'd need to like add that to the routes to manually generate that. Other than that, the crawler's going to find all your pages. You don't have to worry about it. And I think that's just amazing. It's a lifesaver. And there's live preview. What is live preview? This is really cool. So you have a live preview, which basically means, I'm going to use an example here, Hasura, right? So if I have my content in Hasura in a database and I want to change that, but I'm not sure I want to actually build yet. I want to make sure things are okay so I can modify in the database, and then I can go and use a query param of preview true, and then I can see what's been modified in my database. I can see what it looks like in the page, and then I can decide to regenerate the site. So that's really, really cool feature. There's a whole article on that as well, so do check that out if that's new to you. Yeah, it's one of my favorite features. It's just great. Love it. So yes, with the docs, what are we working on? So we're going to create a new resources section. So that's going to be coming soon. And the idea is to like have a modules and examples section. So many people have been reaching out to me and saying, what are the official Nuxt modules? Which modules can I use? And it is sometimes hard to try and find them, right? And try and find the right ones. So we're creating this really, really cool and easy way of finding modules that will be on our website. And then you'll be able to just go through them. And if you've got a module you want to add to it, and it's like, up to the standards and passes everything, then yeah, we're happy to add that as well. So we'll be monitoring as well which modules get added there to make sure that they are being maintained and that they are of good standards, etc. And it's just going to help you in choosing which modules you want to use, and some examples as well. And this is like, when is this going to be finished? This is like, it's never ending, right? Because there's always new examples and there's always new modules that are going to be added. But it's going to be really cool section once it's there, and can't wait to release it. It's almost there. So we're halfway there. Nuxt quiz, this is coming out this month. I am so excited about this. We built a quiz to help you learn Nuxt, to help you to test your knowledge and see if you're really a Nuxter, right? It's just a simple quiz, and there's a couple of answers there. I try and trick you out as well. And the idea is just at the end of each chapter of every page, there's a quiz, and it's just for fun. Just take part in it, and that will be released at the end of the month. We're just finishing working on that, but it's almost ready. Nuxt videos, we're going to have videos coming out soon. Now, when I say soon, it could be like November, December, January, but we are working on them. And what we want to have is we want to create videos for you to be able to learn Nuxt, so that you can actually just, it's learning how Nuxt is working. And on every documentation page, there'll be a code sandbox, there'll be a quiz, and hopefully a video as well. So you can watch that and kind of see how things work. Our aim is to make Nuxt accessible for everyone in the world to be able to learn. And we want more people on board, more people using Nuxt. So everything we can do to help make that happen, that's what we're doing. So love your feedback on all this. This will be great. As for the website, so we have a new design coming. Like, seriously, it is amazing. I can't even show you because that would be like spoiling it for you all. But we have a whole new design coming. It's really, really good. We're going to be doing a lot of work on the website, making it cooler. We're going to be adding so many new sections and stuff, so that, for example, when your manager says, why should we use Nuxt, and you need something to say, hey, because of this, well, we're going to have that for you. So that's coming soon. We're going to have a lot of sections, like Discover section, and a lot of content. And like I said, coming soon. So watch this space and just watch out for all these cool things that are happening. More Nuxt modules. We've released so many modules the last last week. It's just never ending. So I'm just going to quickly go over a few of them. So we got Nuxt Tailwind. You might have already been using this, but this was recently updated with new documentation as well. So check that out. That's the Tailwind CSS module for Nuxt. Nuxt Cloudinary, absolutely a crazy cool module here for your images. So if you're working with images, or you have images on your website, which most of us do, if you don't know what Cloudinary is, do check them out, because it's actually free for developers. It's free for anyone until you get to certain usage, right? I don't have that many visitors on my website, so I'm probably never ever going to have to pay. But if you have an Amazon website, you'll have to pay. But that's kind of normal, right? If you have an Amazon website, probably rich. So start off with a free account with Cloudinary and test it out. It's really cool because this is before it was hard to integrate Cloudinary with Nuxt because it wasn't working so well, and it wasn't great. And now with this module, super simple, and then you can add them there, and it's going to make your images automatically smaller on mobile devices and better performant. It's going to download a WebP instead of a JPEG when you're on better browsers like Chrome, for example. So highly encourage you to check that out. If CMSs are your thing, we have a module for almost every CMS out there. So Nuxt Sanity, access text, images, and other media with Nuxt and the Sanity headless CMS. Nuxt Prismic, easily connect Prismic to Nuxt. Nuxt Strappy, the Strappy module for Nuxt. So there's some amazing CMSs, so you can check out any of those. We've also got Nuxt Storybook. This is great. So if you haven't heard of Storybook, it's a way of design, like a design system for your components. So you can create them, and it's really cool because this is really, really hard to integrate with Nuxt before. And now it's super simple. It's oh my God, it's so amazing. So do check that out. Nuxt PWA. Many of you who've already worked with Nuxt are probably saying, that's not new. That's been out for a while. Yes, you're right, but the version 3 has just been released and it's updated to include Workbox 5. So a zero config PWA solution for Nuxt, and it's really, really cool. You can get a progressive web app up and running in seconds. So that's great. Nuxt MDX, if you want to write JSX in your Markdown with Nuxt, why would you want to do that? Sorry, not a JSX fan. But yeah, if you do, if that's your thing, that's cool. I'm not going to judge you. That's fine. You can now do it with the Nuxt MDX module. So check that out. But what I'm really excited about is Nuxt Content. Nuxt Content is my favorite. It's like a Git-based headless CMS. And it's really, really cool. It's a really, really great way of writing content. Now I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this, and I'm going to tell you more about it because I just love it so much. It's my favorite module that's just been released. So the content module has about 78,000 plus downloads at the time of recording. And it was released in April. So you're talking about in 4 months, 78,000 plus downloads. It's incredible. It's just skyrocketed. Like, we built it for our website so we can write content easily. And the world has just taken it on board, and we're really, really proud of that. So thanks everyone who has used it. And if you haven't checked it out, do. So the content module is a Git-based headless CMS. So for those of you who are out there thinking, what is a Git-based headless CMS? Let me explain. But first of all, I am Debbie. I'm a 4th degree Taekwondo black belt. Yeah, this is me at a competition. And basically what we do in Taekwondo is we like to take people's heads off, right? This is really, really cool. I love Taekwondo. This is, this is just cool. This is what we do. Take people's heads off. Why? Because sometimes the body and the head were not meant to be together. I know you're probably thinking, what on earth is she saying here? But yes, a Git-based headless CMS. So we want to remove the head from the body. That's basically what we're doing. We're separating the head and the body. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, sometimes the head and the body were not meant to be together exactly, so if we look at a Taekwondo, this is an Olympic Taekwondo. This is what you wear when you're sparring. And this is like the blue one, right? So if you're going to fight blue, the other person's got to be red, because otherwise it's impossible for the judges to see, who's scored a point, etc. So when you've got the blue one on, the other person has got to turn theirs inside out and it's got to be red. So basically, if you think about it like this, we need to be able to change. So we need to be able to change our content. We need to be able to change our front end. So if you think of a Git-based headless CMS, it's kind of like almost the back and the front, and you want to keep them separate so they are interchangeable. So that if I am now going to compete in red, I can just change the head to be red, and then I can fight in that competition. I cannot fight with blue and red. You could, but not in a competition. So yeah, basically that's what it's about. It's literally just separating the front and the back. So I kind of want you to think about it like the body is content, right? That's where all your content is. And the app is your front end, right? And that's the head. And that's basically what we're doing here. The content and the app are kind of separated, and then they connect each other by fetching it, right? Now in Nuxt, we actually have a folder in there called content, but if you were using a CMS from somewhere else, that would be an API call, and that content would be somewhere else. But in this case, it's in our project. So, but it's still separate. It's cool. So basically, when we talk about the content module, it's simple. We basically want to say goodbye to every other CMS. Goodbye WordPress, goodbye Storyblock, goodbye Prismic, goodbye Strappy, goodbye Sanity, goodbye every CMS. What's next? Nuxt Content is going to take over the world. Seriously, we are here and we don't need any other CMS anymore. And what do we need to do now? In order to make this happen, in order to take over the world, we just need to create Git courses for all the marketing team, right? Because now all the people who are going to need to, work with content, work with data, they're going to need to learn Git. All the marketing team, all the managers, we're going to have Git courses for all the managers as well. My mother's going to have a Git course as well, because she's got a blog and she's now going to have to learn Git. Git courses for everyone. I mean, seriously, if everyone just learned Git, Nuxt Content would take over the world. We wouldn't need any other CMS. Brilliant. And it's not that difficult, right? I mean, this is the Git cheat sheet, right? It's simple. I can say to my mother, git config, global username, first name, last name. Yeah, she'd get that, wouldn't she? Would she? Git add file name. Yeah, I mean, I can teach her. I'm sure I can teach her that. And we need to learn the terminal. Yeah, I need to teach them a terminal as well. Oh my God, my mother and the terminal. Yeah, I'm sure I could teach her the terminal. Or couldn't we use Git Kraken or something, or GitHub Desktop or something? I'm sure we could get around that. And what if there's a merge problem, conflicts? Oh yeah, you probably want to call it a developer if there's a merge conflict, right? Because I don't know if the marketing team and the manager would be able to sort that out themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, oh come on. We could just get Git crash courses for everyone. If we could just teach everyone Git, Nuxt Content, rule the world. Simple. So there are two kinds of people in this world, right? There's the my mother type of person who loves the big massive buttons, who likes to be able to see what they're doing and knows when to press save, when to press open, when to press new, when to press save again. Yeah, that kind of people. And then there's the other kind of people like me who like to see all this code and have to figure out what's going on and just kind of yeah, this excites me. This is cool. I don't really want things to be so clear. And I mean, there are those kind of people that like the big buttons and like this as well, that kind of like a bit of both. Let's not talk about them right now. So content module. With a content module, we have no login. There's no login. There's no user interface. There's no nice save button. There's no nice any buttons. So what the hell does it have? Okay, let me show you. So Nuxt Content, we've got our app, and then we've got our content folder. Inside our content folder, we can write in Markdown, we can write in JSON, we can write in YAML, and we can write in CSV. I know, I've lost my mother already. Gone, out the window. So yeah, this is really, really built for developers, and it's going to help you write, if you're writing in Markdown or JSON or YAML or CSV, it's going to really, really help you. And let me show you how it works. So if in our content folder, we create another folder called articles, for example. So we have articles, and then we have a blog post called Amazing Blog Post, for example. This is our Markdown file, and let's write some Markdown, writing direct in Markdown in the content folder. Very cool blog post that is. And you know, every post should have a title and description. So that's created using YAML, those 3 lines at the dot under above title, under description. That means this part of the page is YAML. So in here I write my title, my amazing blog post, and the description, why using content is amazing. Simple as that, right? So now I have this amazing post. So how do we access our content? Okay, let me show you. So again, remember we have our content folder. In there, I've created an articles folder. You could create a blog folder, a post folder, a my folder, whatever you want. And then I've created my Markdown file. And now all I've got to do in my app, in my front end part, is use fetch. I'm going to use fetch to basically fetch the content. Simple as that. I'm just going to fetch the content, right? Fetch is to get. So I'm just going to get the content. Like a dog, you fetch a stick, you throw a stick and you fetch it, he goes and gets it and he brings it back. So it's basically what fetch is doing. It's going, it's getting it, it's bringing it back. So how does it do that? Well, this is the code you would write. So export default, we're using async data and we're passing in $content. This is really important, right? Because this is how it all works. So you want to put in $content, you're passing that into context, as well as the params. Now, I'm passing in the params because I want to work with dynamic pages. If you don't want to work with dynamic pages, then you probably don't need this. But if you're working with blog posts, it's probably going to be dynamic. So this is useful. And then I'm saying const article. I could call this what I want, right? Const page, const document, const post, const blog, const whatever. And I await that content. And what am I exactly awaiting? I'm awaiting inside the content a folder called articles. I call that folder articles, remember, in the last slide. You might have called it posts or whatever. And I'm passing in the params.slug because that's the file name, right? The file name is my slug. And I'm returning article, which is the const article. And when I return article, that's my amazing blog post. So that's basically what I'm getting back. Really, really easy. And now that's it, right? No, that's not it because I've just fetched it. Now I need to show it, right? I need to show it on the page. How do I show it? I show it using the component Nuxt Content. Now here it's like just in your view page, using template. Don't be confused by article, that's just a HTML tag. I could have used a div, but what's important here is Nuxt Content, right? This is important. We need to use this component to be able to get our body. And we use the document. The document is important as well, so I need to use document. And article is the returned object from fetch, right? That's what we called it. We said const article, return article. So now my document equals article. And remember, document, this is what is inside the body of the Markdown file, right? The Markdown. I'm not getting the YAML stuff. I'm only getting what's in the body of the Markdown. So writing direct in Markdown in the content folder, that's the Markdown I wrote, and that's what's going to come back into the document, right? That's what I get back. So that's cool. But, you know, what if I want to get like the title and description? How do I get that? Well, very simple. Because we've called it article, we have access to everything inside article, all the keys. So we've got article.title, article.description, and I could have added an image in there. I could have added an alt tag. I could have added an author or anything I wanted. So you can add as many things as you want in that YAML file, and then you can access them using article.description. Very cool, hey? So remember, the title, description come from the YAML, and that's going to give me what I wrote in the YAML title and description. Okay, hope I'm not going too fast. There's more. Hang on. I know it's a bit of a ride. So when I'm using fetch, for example, I can decide I only want to fetch the title. So I've just made this a bit bigger so you focus on it only. I'm using the only here. I only want the title. Why would I only want the title? Maybe I've created a navigation, for example. Maybe I've created, I don't know, something like a list of all the blog posts. So this is helpful in this way. And then you can sort by title, sort by ascending, for example. We can also do a where. So it's using LuckyDB under the hood. So we can do so many things, and you can check out the documentation for more examples. But maybe we want to get only the author name. Maybe we have a page for each author. So we want like when the author is equal to like Param's author. So the author is Debbie, only show the blog posts by Debbie. And in this case, we don't probably want to, have all the body. We don't want the markdown. We just want the author's name and maybe the name of the post or something. So you can go without body, and then you're not going to get all that markdown being given back in the fetch. You're only going to get the author. So that's kind of really cool. So a couple of features. Previous and next. So it gives you a previous and next when you're working with content. Previous and next. It's really easy to use. It's fantastic. And I mean, that's really important when you're creating a blog or when you're creating documentation, for example. Table of contents. You get a table of contents just by creating H2 and H3 tags. Code blocks, because we all write in code, except my mother. View components. Yes, you can write view components inside your markdown. You're probably thinking, why would I want to do that? Well, seriously, it's actually cool. I wrote a quiz and all the stuff is in the YAML, right? And then I'm just using the quiz component to get that quiz questions and answers from the YAML. So it's kind of really cool. So what else? You can style your content very easily. We have like the class, Nuxt Content, and then we can add a search field so you can easily search your data. And live edit. This is like my favorite. I absolutely love this. So with live edit, for example, let me just play that. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we can just basically, run the dev command, and now live on our page, we just click it and we can start editing text. And then we click off it. We can go up, for example, to the YAML, and we can start modifying what's in the YAML, the title or the description, for example. And then we just click out of it, and then automatically we can see it live. We can see the changes live on the page, and it saves it automatically in our editor. You'll see the editor, you'll see the page being changed. This is really cool. Couple of snippets as well. So on the documentation, if you go to the documentation, we've got snippets for search, for pagination, for table of contents, and for dynamic routing, which basically means you can just go to the documentation, grab the snippet and put it into your code, and then you've got a search feature. So yeah, we've done all that for you to make it easier for you. And there's more. What? I know. It's like the never-ending Nuxt goodies, right? So yeah, with content, we have the content docs theme. So if you're writing a module, plugin, if you're writing something, or if you just need some documentation for something, this is incredible. So literally all you've got to do is yarn create Nuxt Content docs and add your project name. So it could be docs, could be my plugin, could be whatever. And you can add this to an already created repo. So you might have the plugin already created and you just want to add the docs folder. Then you can just create that inside called the docs. And then you got the docs folder, and then you can build that folder, right? Features, what do you get? So you get a content folder. This is what it gives you. It creates for your content folder with some content in it. And then you can just, add on top of it the content you need. It's going to create a static folder with some dummy images and a logo and stuff, but then you just put your own over that. It's going to create a Tailwind config with the colors that we use, and then you're just going to put your own colors on top of that. You can easily add internationalization. It's all set up for you. You've just got to do some minor config, and then you've got French or Spanish or Japanese or whatever language you want. You can sort by category, so you can have different categories. It's incredible, right? Out of the box, you get a table of contents, you get previous and next, you get a search, you get light and dark mode, you get a link to edit the page on GitHub, and you get the version and release notes that are coming straight from GitHub. What? Out of the box. Seriously, yeah, you're going to get all this just by, yeah, seriously, it's so cool. And there's more. We even have components. So the components that come include in this an alert. So you can have an alert with info or a warning or a success one. Easily set up a list, a badge, a code group, a code block, code sandbox. What? Yeah, the code sandbox is cool. So you can create a code sandbox, and then you literally just add the link to the code sandbox and add the code sandbox component, and then bang, you've got it. Let me show you a few quick examples. So for example, an alert, you're just using the alert component and you can write in the text you want. And as you can see, we're using a link inside the alert, we're using highlighting, and it just works. For a list, you got some items, you add your items 1, 2, 3, you go list items equals items, and you'll see on the right, the beautiful tick and item 1, item 2, item 3. So easily create a list. A badge, easily create a badge for versioning. It's cool. That's all you got to do. Code group. I love code groups because normally we have yarn, add, and then Nuxt install. And it just takes up so much space on the page. Interactive, click yarn or click npm. And then you have the code you need to copy and use. And it's fantastic. And then code blocks also come with the file name. and also a copy so you can copy it so the user can copy it, right? So which makes it very user friendly. Code sandbox, like I said, you put the link to the code sandbox and then you just use the code sandbox component and then make the source equal to the link. And that's it. You now have the code sandbox live in your Markdown page. Excellent. So yeah, it basically looks something like this. This is an example, and this is what the docs theme will give you. So here's your logo, then you've got your search bar, you've got your Twitter link, your GitHub link, you've got the introduction page there, the guide, so that's a category, an examples category. You can just create a category and then you can, decide which one goes where. And over on the right hand side, you've got the table of contents. You can see what's on this page and easily scroll down to the video, for example. You can see that list component there. And yeah, you also have, this is it in dark mode, right? So it already comes with the light and dark mode set up. You just have to let the user click the button and choose whichever one they want. And you can see as well at the end of that, the previous and next button. So you can go to the previous one and the next one. So really cool, really cool. It's just like, oh yeah, this is all set up and all done for you. It's so exciting. So I know what you're saying. You're basically saying, where do I start? I know. Where do I start? Well, simply like this. Yarn create Nuxt Content docs, another project name. That's it. Once you do that, bang, you've got it all. Simple as that. Like literally go to content.nuxtjs.org and check it out. And all the documentation is there. And you can even check out this project on GitHub. It's open source, and check out how we're using it as well, or how we're using it at our nuxtjs.org website. And seriously, just get out there and do it. This is why I'm wearing red, because I'm like the girl in red there. I'm like, go and just do it. And the one in blue is going, hang on a moment, I need to think about it. Stop thinking, just get things done. Stop waiting for things to happen. Go out there and make them happen. So if you've got documentation you need writing, get using Nuxt Content right now. If you've got documentation on some other website and you're not happy with it, migrate it to Nuxt Content right now. But no, seriously, welcome to Nuxt.